Hello, I'm Father David Beresford. Welcome to St. Barnabas Episcopal Church in Holy Week 2020. The colour of our church hangings are red, the colour of blood, of life, and of Christ's passion. In a moment, I will share with you a short meditation on the cross of Christ. In Holy Week, it's normal for the people to congregate in the church in order to celebrate the great 3 days of Holy Week, Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter Day. We call them a Triduum, and in Maundy Thursday we have the teaching of the Eucharist, and also Jesus does something remarkable in the service. He washes the disciples' feet. Now that action is a way of demonstrating to his disciples the nature of discipleship, that Jesus carries out the work of a slave. Of course, he gets some pushback from Simon Peter, but Jesus makes clear to him if he's to be a follower of Christ, it is service to others, which is the hallmark of that discipleship. After Maundy Thursday, we have Good Friday, terrible event of Christ's crucifixion. Church is usually stripped bare, and we hear the solemn liturgy from the evangelist St. John. And that leads us to the Easter Day, of course, the resurrection. Jesus is raised to new life, and that is a day of great celebration and joy. Today, however, I want to share with you a meditation on the cross of Christ. This cross does not belong to St. Barnabas. It was kindly lent to us by Father Joe of St. John Beloved. I mentioned to him that I was going to offer a solemn liturgy of Good Friday, and did he have a cross that we could borrow for veneration? He very kindly lent us this crucifix, and I have to say it's a stunningly beautiful work of art. I hesitate to use the word beauty because we're talking about a terrible and excruciating scene or event which is being depicted here. The crucifixion was a form of execution which was reserved for slaves or people of lower rank. It was meant to be humiliating and shameful, and it was used as those who died on the cross served as an example to others who were thinking of breaking the law. Jesus was convicted of blasphemy under Jewish law and sentenced to death by the Roman governor Pontius Pilate. There were political reasons why Jesus had to die. He had increasing popular support, which challenged the authority of the Pharisees and those in charge of the temple. He broke the law by healing and performing acts of mercy on the Sabbath, the day of rest. Most seriously, he did not deny being the Son of God, and by being put to death, this claim would be shown to be false, for surely if he were the Son of God, then God would have rescued him from the cross. As it happens, God does not rescue Jesus from the cross. Jesus undergoes death, along with 2 thieves on either side of him. There were personal reasons why Jesus had to die, and those reasons involve you and me. Jesus' whole ministry and mission was spent among the people. Jesus loved everyone, rich and poor, saint and sinner. If Jesus the man reflects the goodness and love of human nature, then the cross represents its opposite, the cruelty and injustice of human beings. If we study the cross long enough, we will see both the cruelty of man and the love of God. The cross can be an uncomfortable reminder of our own failings and our own sinfulness, while at the same time it can help us to see beyond them. Jesus did not run away from the shame of the cross. He accepted his painful death with courage and humility. Out of love for us, he endured its humiliation, so that those who face similar treatment might know that Christ is with them when they too are victims of injustice and cruelty. Christ is with all who suffer at this time, and in particular he is with those who are suffering from the coronavirus and those who are lonely, anxious, or afraid. Jesus is with us because out of love he endured the suffering and shame of the cross. He did this for the sake of the love between God the Father and God the Son. Jesus is obedient unto death. The crucifixion is part of God's plan of salvation for the whole world. Secondly, Jesus endures the cross because of the people whom he loved, even those who sentenced him to death. From the cross, Jesus said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Earlier, Jesus had told his disciples, his friends, "No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Jesus willingly offers his life for his friends. We understand this action theologically as an atonement for sin. Jesus squares up to the extremes of sin and cruelty on the cross and redeems them by his death. The cross is sometimes called the gateway to life. Jesus does not stay on the cross, nor is his death the final word. In 3 days he is raised to new life, and this resurrection demonstrates God's victory over sin and death, our most feared enemies. Jesus invites us to experience this new life with him. The amazing thing is, we don't need to wait for death to experience it. It is offered to us now. But to receive this new life, we must first see and know Jesus, who died for us on the cross. An innocent man condemned to death is our Savior. In love, with humility, let us gaze upon him here and see the depth of his love and passion for the world. Thank you for listening to this short meditation on the cross of Christ. I wish you a very joyful and blessed Easter.